I said you should be
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
that will make your life easy.
Yeah, that is the objective.
Correct. So I also wanted
I'm
to
doing some innovative
congratulate you.
activities like you must be already aware of creating all those abbreviations,
Yes.
like
Which
using
one?
the ones which are already common to create, reframe them as a very positive uh, energy
Oh, it
vibe.
has a very, very powerful positive impact.
Yeah, so that is something that I'm doing. Another thing which I'm doing is creating new words which are not in dictionary, but which
Okay.
have some meaningful context.
Yes, of course you can do that. Of course, one can
Uh,
definitely create new words and the meaning as well.
hmm. So, like for example, I created a word called outsight.
Hmm.
Outsight, outside. So I say outside is insight plus action. So this new word is called outside. Outside is equal to insight plus action. Like as you read a book, as you attend a training session, you collect some insights. And as I collect some insights, the actions which I take on them shows up as a result, and that result is the outside. The people can see, yes, you have become somebody else. You have become something which you are not there earlier. Something new is showing up in your behavior, the way you're talking, the way you're carrying yourself, the kind of uh, intonation that you're using, the kind of thought process that you're generating. So, which is happening anyway. Like you are picking up information from different sources, and then you are acting upon some of them. And when you act upon some of them, it shows up as an outside. So, this is one word, outside. Another word which I picked up is extrospection. Like extrospection is the opposite of introspection. Introspection, like you are getting some information, some insights, and now you're doing an introspection. You are actually doing some investigation inside you. Extrospection is what you are collecting the information from outside. Here's what extrospection is all about. The certain information which you are already aware of, you got this, and you are comparing it, and that is again showing up around you. So extrospection. Extrospection can be also observing others while you say something. The introspection is as you say something to yourself, and then you do the inspection inside yourself. Extrospection is as you say something and you do the inspection in the people around you. You observe that how they are behaving, how they are taking that new word, how they are interacting with you. What is showing up because of the action, because action that you take, because of your behavior, what is showing up. That is what is extrospection is all about. These are kind of new words that I'm documenting. There's another reframe which I think is very common, or which can be used in a very common way. Like there are very weak negative words. I call them as dirty words. These words, they do not allow you to think good. So what when you use these words in your communication, I'm not talking about the abusing words. There are certain words which we use in our day-to-day activities, day-to-day communication. But those words do not add any value. They make us weak. They force us to feel weak. One such word is introvert. Now, if you look at from NLP's perspective, every word that you and I use in our communication is an anchor. It triggers a feeling. So when you and I use any word in our communication to express ourselves, what happens? Each and every word triggers a feeling which is associated with that word among the people who are listening to you. Every word is stored in our brain. Every word is stored in our brain has a feeling. And we call it internal representation. The internal representation is something which you can see. You can see it somewhere inside your brain. When you close your eyes, you see it somewhere inside your brain. If I ask you, where do you see it? You can see it somewhere. Maybe inside your brain, maybe outside your brain, but you can see it somewhere. You remember we did this activity in submodalities? So we close our eyes and we find that object wherever it is, wherever I can see that object. And then we look at that. Is it big or small? Is it round or square? Is it a 3D or 2D? Is it colorful or black and white? And we do all the submodalities. Is there any sound associated with it? Is there any smell associated with it? Is there any taste associated with it? Is it rough or smooth? These are all submodalities of what? Of that internal representation, that image which you have created about that particular word inside your brain, somewhere inside your brain. And you and I store these words along with their submodalities as a feeling in our brain. So it is applicable for all tangible objects which you can see, you can touch, you can hear, you can feel, you can taste, you can smell. Those are already there, the tangible things. And then there are the intangibles. Intangibles are all the feelings which you can't see as an object, but you only see it as a feeling. For example, if I ask you that what is the difference between encouragement, motivation, and inspiration, you know there's a difference between these three words. And the difference that you are experiencing right now is the feeling that are associated with these words. The question is, how did you learn? How did you know that the feeling of happiness is like this? The feeling of unhappiness is also like this. The feeling of sadness is like this. The feeling of excitement is like this. The feeling of empowerment is like this. The feeling of enlightenment is like this. How did you know? The feeling of lust is like this. The feeling of selfishness is like this. How did you know? They are not tangible objects, right? You can't see them in a physical form. But how did you know that this is exactly what the meaning or the feeling of this word? So each and every word is backed by at least one story, one event in your life. And as you were a or a role part of that event, you played a role in that event, whether you're attached or detached, but you picked up that the meaning of this event is this. And that's how you learned every word. So there's a situation, the same situation can be expressed as different words. One of the word could be problem, one word could be challenge, one word could be issue, one word could be concern, one word could be hurdle, one word could be just a situation. Okay. It's the same event, but so many words can be used to define that event. So that is so. How about not using the word problem or not associating the word problem with that event? Instead of saying a problem, you can say, what is the situation? The situation is like this. This is the situation. And then it becomes neutral. And imagine when you say situation, you have a different feeling for that word. When you use the word problem, you have a different feeling for it. When you use the word concern, issue, challenge, opportunity, you have a different feeling for each of these words. Though the event remains the same, now you have different feelings because you use different words to express that event or to experience that event or to share your experience about that event. You're using a different word. And every time you're using a different word, you are feeling differently because that particular word is stored inside your brain as a feeling which you created for yourself. So it's all about feeling. So when you use the word introvert, what happens? Labeling. You label that person as an introvert. And you have your own definition of introvert. And every time you use the word introvert in your communication, what feeling, what vibrations you are generating in that around that place among the people with whom you are talking. Even when you are saying I'm introvert, or you are saying my son is introvert, or you are saying my daughter is introvert, what you are doing, you are only sharing a behavior of that person as that person, isn't it? What is the point? Now here neurolinguistic programming comes in and does the rescue work. How would reframing it? Simple reframing. If you observe carefully what these people do, the people whom you are labeling as introvert, what they do in any given situation. It is not that they don't speak. They speak when they think it is the right opportunity to speak. Otherwise, they don't speak. They speak when they feel comfortable to speak. They speak up and speak out. They're the same people who can speak up and speak out and spend hours of times with some selected people while doing all the talking, isn't it? So how about labeling? If you really need to label them, how about labeling them as they're selective speakers? This is one way of looking at it. You can use many other way. How about it? Imagine, just observe the or the experience that you're experiencing right now when you are using the word this person, this boy or this girl is a selective speaker. How are you feeling right now? Isn't it amazing? Isn't it something which really empowers you? Isn't it something that empowers every person who is getting exposed with these two words, selective speaker? This is what I'm talking about, the power of reframing. See, neurolinguistic programming, it walks on two legs. One of the leg is reframing, the other leg is anchoring. And notice how we are using both reframing and anchoring in this case. in our language patterns. As we reframed the word introvert with a selective speaker, we triggered the anchor of selective speaker rather than the anchor of introvert. And when we triggered that anchor, we also triggered that feeling, triggered that experience in that conversation. You know why I'm saying all these things? Because I rarely speak in public. At some point of time, I also used to tell myself that I'm an introvert. I don't speak to people. I love to make friends, but I'm very selective about talking to people. In fact, I'm very selective about picking up friends as well. तो क्या हुआ, बातों बातों में एक बार मैंने मजाक मजाक में I said that it's not that I'm introvert, probably I'm a selective speaker. मैं सबके साथ बात नहीं करता हूँ, जिसके साथ मेरी बनती है उसी के साथ बात करता हूँ. You must have noticed that when I attend any group session, I normally do not speak, and even if I choose to speak, I raise my hand before speaking. Did you notice that? It's not a sign of introvert that I don't speak in public. It's a sign of a selective speaker. It's a sign of a responsibility that I'm taking for myself, that when I speak, others must listen. They must pay attention to when I speak. They must get the value of the point that I am sharing with them. Isn't that awesome? You know, I talk about 2 points, 2 things, very interesting. One is about thinking, other one is about speaking. So like, because we are exposed to 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, you and I can take control of those thoughts. Now, out of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts, 95% of them are repetitive in nature. Naturally, 95% of the actions, activities that they're doing throughout that are repetitive in nature. Yeah, hello, Binal. So when you talk, imagine when you're talking, what is happening? Your every word that you speak throughout the day is being influenced by the 95% of the 60 to 70,000 thoughts that is coming to your mind anyway. And what are those thoughts? Those 60 to 70, those 95% thoughts. It may be just starting from getting up in the morning, doing the bed, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, focusing on your hairstyles, selecting the clothes that you are going to wear today, taking the shower. Maybe just taking the shower, maybe there are 1,000 thoughts associated with taking the shower. There's so many thoughts are there. Yeah. You observe how many thoughts could be associated with taking a shower. Let me just give you a simple example. One simple example. You take the clothes that you are going to wear after the shower is over. So you are putting your attention there. So many thoughts are associated with that. Okay. Then you took the steps towards moving towards your washroom or bathroom. You know exactly how many steps you need to go there. कभी आपने देखा है कि when you are going to the bathroom of your own house, you missed a step? You never missed a step. From wherever you take the decision inside that house, because your subconscious mind knows that you need to take so many steps to reach the bathroom. So you'll never find any hurdle while you're going to the bathroom. You will never miss a single step. Not even outside the bathroom, not even inside the bathroom when you open the door and get inside. And so many thoughts are associated with that. These are part of those 95% of the 60 to 70,000 thoughts. Just getting ready for the shower. Just getting ready for the shower. Then you get into the washroom. You look for the place where you will put those clothes. You may be looking for the shower. You may be looking for the wash basin. You may be looking for many other things. You would even putting one drop of water on your body. You start your shower by pouring water at one particular portion of your body. Some part of your body you start taking your shower. है ना, कोई सर से शुरू करता है, कोई पाँव से शुरू करता है, कोई बॉडी से शुरू करता है, कोई हाथ से शुरू करता है. These are all the thoughts. Yeah, these are all the thoughts. These are all those 95% of the 60 to 70,000 thoughts that are coming to you. So what you...
And most of them are repeated.
Absolutely. Most of them are repeated thoughts. So what is important is the remaining 5%, which are new to you. And those remaining 5% makes all the difference in your life. So you have to become extremely choosy about those remaining 5% thoughts. In fact, if you can reduce your number of thoughts from 60 to 70,000 to whatever number throughout the day, you are really blessed because you have more control on the thoughts that you think. And here comes this beautiful statement. Think slow, think less, think smart. You know, this is the first step towards meditation. Do you notice when you get into meditation activity, this is what you are being asked to do in different forms, different ways. They will say, sit quietly, calm down, sit straight, close your eyes. And they say it so slowly that you also start thinking slowly. So you are thinking slowly, you are thinking less also. Think slow, think less, and then think smart.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, when you do that, the next step which comes or which makes it even more powerful is the speaking part. And the speaking part is also the same game. Speak slow, speak less, and speak smart. Speak slow, speak less, speak smart. And if you can do that, probably you are the most blessed person at that point of time. So when you label somebody as introvert, they are so blessed. They think slow, they think less, they think smart, they speak slow, they speak less, and they speak smart. So do not label a person as introvert, because when you're labeling that person as introvert, it carries a different meaning. However, if you look at this beautiful word called introvert from this angle, खाली नजरिया बदलना है, thoughts को बदलना है, not to allow those 95% thoughts which comes along with the word introvert. Instead, add 5% new words to express your experience about introvert. And then you see how the magic happens. Isn't it amazing?
Yes, सर बट ये जो लेबल हम लगाते हैं इंट्रोवर्ट का, तो अभी रिसेंटली आई हैड एन एक्सपीरियंस इन माय ऑफिस. आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर इफ यू अलाउ मी.
Please go ahead. Why not?
Yeah, so ऐसा है ना कि रिसेंटली आई हैड अ ट्रिप, गोवा ट्रिप, ऑफिस का ट्रिप था. तो आई हैड अ ट्रिप विद देम. तो दे ऑल वर हैविंग फन. उनके लिए फन का डेफिनेशन वाज ड्रिंकिंग, enjoying alcohol and chilling. And मेरे लिए वो fun का definition था ही नहीं. No, what happened? Literally, we had water sports, सारी चीजें हुई. While coming to bus, I am bit aloof and I started reading book in one corner. I was there with them and I started. Then my ex-boss came and he said that this attitude would go here. And I was like, sorry, I'm not able to understand you. You are the most unhappy person from the entire bus. And actually what happened is कि एक बंदे ने थोड़ा सा हंगामा किया. He drank and he drank too much. He was not able to control. 2-3 जन आए and सब chaos में. मेरे से निकल गया. अरे आप लोग सुधर जाओ थोड़ा. अभी मतलब there were 2-3 girls as well and अच्छा नहीं लगता है ना office trip और. And तभी he started bombarding me that you know what, we all are enjoying it, we all are having fun. खाली तुझे छोड़ के you are the most unhappy person. मैं बोला if this is your enjoyment, trust me, I'm the most happiest person you have ever seen. No, trust me when I say you are the most unhappy person. तो मैं झूठ बोल रहा हूँ, वो ईगो पे आ गया. और 2-3 बार ही ट्राइड टू कन्विंस, मैं झूठ बोल रहा हूँ, मैं झूठ बोल रहा हूँ. आपने बोला शायद सही बोलते होंगे, मैं सही बोल रही हूँ ये मुझे मालूम, बट ही ट्राइड टू कन्विंस मी इन सच अ वे. यहाँ पे हर कोई मेरे जैसा बनना चाहता है, तेरे जैसा कौन बनना चाहता है. मैं बोला बात तो सही है, मेरे जैसा नहीं. एंड आई फेल्ट वेरी बैड. बुरा मत लगा ना, लेकिन तेरे जैसा कोई नहीं बनना चाहता. यू आर रूड, यू डोंट टॉक टू पीपल, यू आर शोइंग दैट काइंड ऑफ एटीट्यूड. लाइक पता नहीं यार, बट मुझे यही अच्छा लगता है. मतलब अलग रहना. आई डोंट नो इट इज इंट्रोवर्ट, इट इज व्हाट, और मैं अलग हो जाती हूँ.
Okay, so let me put it from NLP angle. Every human being has a unique model of the world.
Absolutely.
So your model of the world and their model of the world is different, number one. Number two, when that person is in inebriated condition, उसका model of the world वैसे ही बदल चुका है. उस वक्त उसके लिए model of the world is something else. उसके लिए उसको लगता है कि this is the happy moment, this is the moment of excitement, and people should be celebrating their life like this. If that is so, find out that whether that person is living that kind of life when he is not in an inebriated condition. If he's actually living his life the same way when he's not in inebriated condition, that means it's okay for him. But he's the same person whether he's drinking or not drinking.
Yeah, he's the same person. He's the same person.
He's the same person. Okay. Then it could be possible that his model of the world is different. According to him, this is excitement, this is enjoyment is all about. According to your model of the world, your way of looking at excitement and enjoyment is different.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Imagine the first presupposition of NLP, the first belief of excellence. See, NLP is these 18 beliefs of excellence. Why they are called beliefs of excellence? Because NLP का फंडा क्या है? NLP walks on two legs. एक हो गया reframing, एक हो गया anchoring. और इन दोनों से हम करते क्या है? We move on our journey towards becoming an excellent person. So achieving excellence is all about the outcome of NLP. You know, when John Grinder and Richard Bandler, they came up with this concept. They wrote a book. आज से 50 साल पहले 1975 में this book was published. So actually we are celebrating 50 years of NLP this year. So this book was published in 1975. उसका title था the Structure of Magic. Structure of Magic में उन्होंने यही बोला था कि neuro-linguistic programming is all about using two things. One is reframe, one is anchoring. और इनको यूज करके आप अपने जिंदगी को बेहतर से बेहतरीन बनाओ. Achieve excellence in your life. So if you want to achieve excellence in your life, you have to focus on, you have to become a masterpiece on these two things, anchoring and reframing. So anchoring, like creating new anchors, or maybe there are existing anchors, but using those anchors in a way such that it works wonders for you. Like as I was sharing in this session a while ago, that every word that you use in your communication is an anchor. So all the words that you know, maybe say you know say 5,000 words of English, for example, all these words is an anchor for you. Imagine you think of every word, you are just triggering the experience and feeling of that word. Yeah. So it is your way of learning that this is the meaning of this word, or this is the experience of this word, or this is the feeling of this word, and you store each and every word as an internal representation in this storage, and you can actually see it also. When you close your eyes, you can also see where it is being stored, and you can actually see the shape of it also. You can see the structure, you can see the everything of that experience, of that feeling, of that word. So every word is stored inside your brain as a feeling. What happens now, every time you use any word in expressing yourself, what you do is you bring the experience of that feeling in that conversation. That is what I was just sharing, that it is just a situation or just an event. However, you can give a multiple names to that event. You can say it's a problem, you can say it's a challenge, you can say it's a situation, you can say it's an issue, you can say it's a concern, you can say it's an opportunity. Event remains the same. And imagine every time you use one of these words, challenge, for example, what is happening? You are experience the feeling of that word and you attach it to that event. और वैसे ही वो इवेंट किसी के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी हो जाता है, किसी के लिए चैलेंज हो जाता है, किसी के लिए प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है, किसी के लिए पता नहीं क्या है.
Can we use words also as an anchor? Is it
All
possible?
the words are anchors. Every word that you know is an anchor. Every word that you learned is backed by some event in your life. That is how you learned every word. And then there was repetition of that event and you told yourself, is this is the meaning of this word. So you imagine every time you use the word confidence, what happens? Don't you feel confident?
Absolutely, yes.
When you say absolutely yes, aren't you feeling absolutely and yes? Anchor hai ki nahi? You will find many people, they use specific words in their communication to express that I got your point. They will say yes, they will say right. Yeah. So when they're saying yeah, that is also an anchor.
Okay. So you are saying that if you are using a right words, you can change the and rewire the story.
Yes, every word is backed by a story. That's how you learned. How did you learn that this object is called box? How did you learn it? Probably first you got to see a picture in a book, and then you saw a similar thing. Then somebody said this is a box, and then your brain picked up, okay, probably an object like this is called box. And then somebody showed you a similar thing which is smaller than of that size than the previous one, and you are also, this is also a box. Yeah. And then your parents say, yes, this is also a box. Observe each and every word that you learn. How did you learn that? And the moment you use that word in your communication, you trigger that anchor. वही बॉक्स हिंदी में बक्सा बन जाता है. So now there are two triggers, two anchors of the same object or similar objects. So when we say in Bangla, we say baksho. So baksho, baksa, box, they all mean the same thing, but now I have three different words for it. And incidentally, my brain discovered that these three words point to the same thing. So I triggered that anchor whenever I use the word box in my communication. कभी कभी होता है ना, like you are looking for a hammer नहीं मिल रहा, then you are looking for a similar object which you can use to do the work of a hammer. So every similar word that you're looking for, similar object, you are triggering those anchors. Patthar le aao. Because now the anchor is I want something using which I can hit that nail. Hathoda nahi hai to patthar le aao. If you talk in English, then you will say if you can't find a hammer, get a rock. So now you've got four words, but you know that rock and patthar is the same thing, and the hammer and hathoda is also the same thing. And you trigger that anchor. So when you ask somebody to get a hammer, you're triggering that anchor, right? Get the hammer. Because hammer ka kaam kya hai, aapko pata hai. Now when that person comes back to you, said, I don't know where is the hammer, or I can't find a hammer, then what do you say? You get something which can do the work of a hammer, right? So every word that you speak is backed by an anchor. In fact, every word is an anchor. That's why you use those words in your communication. And you trigger those anchors.
Can you use the right words and वही time पे वो right mindset के time पे वो words if we are writing it or something, we use karta hai. Is it possible that we can use the right words to get the right things?
Possible.
When we are-
इसीलिए exactly possible. That's why this I say this thing. The think slow, think less, think smart. So when you don't do that, and when a situation arises, many times क्या होता है, we get into panic mode. अब क्या करूं, अब क्या करूं, अब क्या करूं? So that is the time when you should be thinking slow, thinking less, thinking smart, so that you think about the right things which are or the relevant things which should be focused on at that point of time. Same thing while you are talking.
Right.
When you
Even
when you are
yes,
angry, when you are argument, क्या होता है, हम उल्टा पुल्टा बातें कर देते हैं. So those are the times, those are moments when you should be very careful while you are speaking. So people who are introvert, they are very smart. They are exceptionally smart people. They know किसके सामने क्या बातें करना है, किसके सामने बातें बिल्कुल नहीं करना.
that is amazing. Even Narendra Modi is an example of it. He always speaks very slow, very apt, very relevant, and to the point. एंड वो जब बोलते हैं दुनिया सुनती है, जब वो मित्रों खाली बोल दिया ना बस. I don't know how the power is. बाकी दुनिया कुछ भी बोले, people are not listening. When he speaks, people listens.
All anchors, when he use the word mitro, he's triggering that anchor. Because what he did when he started using this word mitro and people started listening to it, you created an anchor. And funny part is that every time you hear this word mitro from anybody, the first thought that probably comes to your mind is Narendra Modi. Isn't it an anchor?
Absolutely.
So every word that you and I use in your communication is an anchor. We trigger that anchor, and we are triggering such anchors left, right, and center when we are talking, even right now. Then why do we need to create anchors specifically? Sometimes we don't even notice. So we use different anchors deliberately to create that experience or trigger that experience at per my will. However, if I'm a masterpiece in conscious communication, then I don't need any other anchor. I know that when I use the word confidence, confidence happens. है ना, है कि नहीं?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बहुत ही अच्छी बात सुनी और आज was wonderful.
Yeah, so coming back जहाँ से हमने शुरू किया था. So the first belief of excellence, the first presupposition of NLP is every human being has a unique model of the world. This is the first one, that you have to believe it. चाहे आप believe करो ना करो, if you want to be on a journey towards achieving excellence, this is the places where you need to start. You have to start with these 18 beliefs. So naturally, first belief ये हो गया, that every human being has a unique model of the world. And then comes the second one, which says respect everyone's model of the world. है ना? रेस्पेक्ट क्यों करना है? इसीलिए करना है कि वो है ही वैसा. मेरा मॉडल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड और उसका मॉडल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड कैन नेवर मैच. इवन इफ इट इज अ मदर एंड डॉटर, it will never match. Mother will say मेरे तो डॉटर के बारे में एक एक चीज मुझे मालूम है. Daughter will also say मुझे भी मेरे मम्मी के बारे में सब चीज मालूम है. If you discover, you will probably know only 1% of her and she knows only 1% of you. And whatever the picture that she has created about you in her internal representation will never match the picture you have created about yourself in your internal representation. And vice versa.
I think that parroting work, parroting अगर आपने सुना होगा उसके बारे में in psychology, parroting that actually works. For example, if you want to create a rapport, even in NLP बताया गया है कि if we repeat the same words, अगर action में if we are talking in the parrot phrasing या parroting any which ways, तो वो work कर रहा है. तो people को लगता है कि यार we are in a sync because we are using the same words, same anchor, and वो create synchronicity आ रहा है.
Exactly. You know, paraphrasing is again what happens that when the kind of words that person is using in his communication or her communication, if you catch that there are certain words which that person is using in his communication, and if you start using those words while communicating with that person, he feels comfortable or she feels comfortable. इसीलिए हमें हमें एनएलपी में क्या सिखाया गया है कि आप सेंसरी एक्टिविटी यूज करो टू आइडेंटिफाई द इंटरनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ दैट पर्सन, सॉरी द रिप्रेजेंटेशन सिस्टम ऑफ दैट पर्सन, कि उसका रिप्रेजेंटेशन प्राइमरी रिप्रेजेंटेशन सिस्टम क्या है, विजुअल है, ऑडिटरी है, काइनेस्थेटिक है, ऑडिटरी डिजिटल है. So now you discover that this is that person's primary representation system. You use those words while communicating with him. So if you discover that somebody is talking about visual elements, you use visual words. हो सकता है आप ऑडिटरी हो, वो विजुअल है, लेकिन अगर आपको उसके साथ रैपो डेवलप करना है, the first thing that you need to do is to allow that person to speak. And when that person starts speaking, observe the kind of word that he is using in first 2, 3 sentences, 4 sentences. Very carefully the kind of words he is using. How is the weather? बोलेगा ना weather कैसा है. Notice the kind of word that he is using in the weather. So that the person may say कि आज बहुत गर्मी है. The same person may say आज तो बहुत पसीना हो रहा है. दो अलग चीजें हो गई, right?
इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ा, चीजें तो वही
बहुत
है.
फर्क हो गया. गर्मी है मतलब वो बाहर है. It is happening outside. But मैं
Okay.
पसीना पसीना हो रहा हूँ. The opening sentence is ये कि मैं पसीना पसीना हो रहा हूँ. He is talking about his feelings at that point of time. That I am not feeling comfortable right now.
Anesthetic. Okay, got it.
है ना? So you have to observe the kind of words that he is using. बारिश हो जाए तो बहुत बढ़िया. Now he is a visual kind of person. उस गर्मी में भी वो बारिश दिख रहा है उसको. आज बारिश हो तो बहुत अच्छा है. अब बारिश की वजह से कुछ लोग परेशान होते हैं, कुछ लोग खुश होते हैं. It's the same rain. Somebody would say आज तो बहुत ट्रैफिक हो जाएगा रास्ते में. For example, I do not like carrying umbrella. This is from my childhood. So I observed that, like, what is my relationship with umbrella? So I discovered that I do not want to carry an umbrella in my hand. As long as it is in my bag or in my luggage, it's okay. Even when it is there, it works as an anchor. कि चलो है तो साथ, अगर जरूरत पड़े तो निकाल लेंगे, like that. Even then, when I go outside, I prefer not to carry an umbrella. मुझे लगता है मेरा हाथ एंगेज हो जाए. Then I look at ladies. मैं देखता हूँ यार ये दो बैग हाथ में, एक मोबाइल लेके कैसे चलते हैं. इनके कपड़ों में एक पॉकेट तक नहीं है ना. So that I observe ladies also, कि how they are living their life. My daughters, my wife, people outside, observe करता हूँ. जो लोग साड़ी पहनते हैं, सोचो उनके पास तो पॉकेट नाम का कुछ चीज है ही नहीं. एक हाथ तो एंगेज हो गया मोबाइल में, दूसरे हाथ से क्या करें,
साड़ी में
है ना.
एक हाथ
दूसरे हाथ से,
हाँ,
दूसरे हाथ से अगर साड़ी संभाल रही है, then how she is managing herself,
right.
what she is doing with her hands. इन हाथों का इतना कुछ इस्तेमाल हो सकता है, but that person is using his or her hands only for doing two things: holding a mobile and managing the sari. And probably somebody discovered it, and you will find some people who do not prefer to wear sari. वो अगर they will wear sari only when they are probably going to a party, के जहाँ मुझे और कुछ करना नहीं है, खाली एक हाथ में वॉलेट रखना है या और उसी के अंदर मोबाइल भी रख देंगे, एंड ठीक है, दूसरा हाथ मेरा कैसे भी वो खाली है. Observe when they in a party, the ladies, how they handle the dishes. मेल तो ठीक है, हाथ में मोबाइल है डाल दिया, एक हाथ में प्लेट उठा लिया, दूसरे हाथ में, हाउ द लेडी इज मैनेजिंग, उसका तो एक हाथ वैसे ही एंगेज्ड है. Even then she is holding a plate, she is also picking up stuff. Now I've observed ladies who, जिनका हाथ खाली होता है ना, वो ज्यादा खाते हैं.
कि अपने हस्बैंड को दे देते हैं पर्स
हाँ
पोस्ट में भी।
हाँ हाँ, वो ज्यादा खाते हैं, और जिनके हाथ में कुछ ना कुछ होता है ना, वो कम खाते हैं. उसका रीजन ये नहीं कि वो कम खाते हैं या टेंडेंसी ऐसा है. सिंस दे ऑलरेडी हैव समथिंग इन देयर हैंड, होल्डिंग अ प्लेट एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ होल्डिंग फूड, they have to ensure that they take less food so that the plate shouldn't fall.
इवन बैठते हैं ना अपन खाते वक्त, तो वो कंफर्टनेस में थोड़ा ज्यादा खाते हैं, और उठ
Exactly,
के खाते हैं तो वो वजन रहता है ना, तो ऐसा है कि फटाफट निकले और वी कैन
exactly.
हैव इट।
Because one hand is engaged, either it has a clutch or it has a mobile something. They will also do hardly 2 rounds. एक for the main course, other maybe for the sweets. इन साथ में अगर हस्बैंड हो तो स्वीट का राउंड भी खुद नहीं जाएंगे, क्योंकि उस वॉलेट को कहीं पे रखना है ना, वो कहाँ रख, उसको संभाल के रखना है, सब कुछ उसी के अंदर है. I observe that they find it very difficult to where should I put this clutch या wallet on the same table जहाँ पे डाइनिंग कर रहा हूँ या अपने गोद में, जो साथ पास पास तो और कोई जगह नहीं है, वो गिर भी ना जाए. So these are the things, nothing, the point is you observe that what is happening, and in all these cases anchors are being used. You are triggering those anchors. है ना. तो न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग क्या है ये, इस दिस इज व्हाई आई रिकमेंड एवरीबॉडी टू लर्न इट. इज it works on 2 levels. One is reframing and anchoring. So anchoring, you discover how you are using anchors throughout the day. Apart from words, you imagine there are certain areas in the kitchen which are like anchors for you. मे बी एक जगह जहाँ पे मसाला रखा होता है, एक जगह जहाँ पे सारे कप रखे होंगे, एक जगह जहाँ पे सारे स्पून रखे होंगे, एक जगह कहीं पे देयर आर थालीज आर देयर, सम कटोरीज आर देयर, यू नो वेयर थिंग्स आर. Now, if there is a place in the kitchen which needs to be handled with care, you will handle that area with care. All anchors. So you use anchors and reframing to become an excellent person, to create excellence in your life. So if you discover, or rather when you discover that I want to do this in my life, but I'm not getting enough time or enough encouragement, enough motivation to do it, find out the conversation that you're having with yourself. What kind of conversation you have, the kind of words that you're using in your communication. And there you need to reframe and anchor so that you start doing it. For example, like if you say मेरे पास इस काम को करने के लिए time नहीं है, okay, how can you take out time? One way of doing it is focusing on something called 5 good minutes. I shared a video on this in Tuesdays with Pinaki. आप हर घंटे सिर्फ 5 मिनट निकाल लो उस काम को करने के लिए. For example, if you want to read a book and you are not getting time to read a book, आप 5 मिनट निकाल लो हर घंटे to read a book. Keep that book with you, and every time the clock strikes an hour, your only job is to read the book for 5 minutes. ना आप बोलोगे नहीं वो तो मैकेनिकल हो जाएगा एक्शन, मेरा ध्यान कहीं और रहेगा. See, the message that you need to give your subconscious is you are supposed to read the book. You are not supposed to understand what is written there. तो क्या होगा? After some time, what will happen? You will actually start feeling the book. तो इसके पहले जो भी आपने 5 पेज पढ़े हैं ना पिछले 4 घंटे में, all of a sudden you can see the connection. You can, your brain can recall, अरे ये तो उसके साथ कनेक्टेड है, अरे ये तो उसके साथ कनेक्टेड. You start with reading story books. अब मान के चले स्टोरी बुक्स में there are 2 characters, one is Anita, one is Rohan. Book starts with Anita and Rohan, but you didn't notice it क्योंकि आप तो बस पढ़ने के लिए पढ़ रहे हो ना. You have dedicated 5 minutes just to read a book. After 3-4 hours, when you again read the 21st page, let me assume that you are reading 5 page per minute, 5 page in 5 minutes. So after 4 hours, you will read the 21st page of that book. 20 पेज आप पढ़ चुके हो हर 5-5 मिनट में. उस 21st पेज में जाकर ऑल ऑफ अ सडन यू कैन सी देयर, पहले के बस 20 पेज में आपने जो भी पढ़ा था, all of a sudden you can see that you can remember them. You can remember Anita, you can remember Rohan, you can remember what they were going through, you can remember the conversation they had.
बहुत
And
बड़ी बात
imagine,
बोली. मैं हमेशा
imagine if you are doing this activity for 5 minutes over 12 hours, 1 घंटा आपने निकाल लिया. My 25th hour निकल गया. क्या मेहनत करना पड़ा? कुछ नहीं, जस्ट एक रिफ्रेम और एक एंकर. रिफ्रेम क्या किया, मैं कैसे भी हो 5 मिनट अपने लिए निकाल लेता हूँ इस बुक को पढ़ने के लिए, नॉट इवन दिस बुक, पढ़ने के लिए. तो यू क्रिएटेड दैट 5 मिनट्स एंड इट लुक्स सो इनसिग्निफिकेंट. 24 घंटे में 5 मिनट क्या दिखता है? कुछ नहीं. लेकिन आपने कमिट कर दिया कि मैं ये 5 मिनट यही करूंगी. आफ्टर सम टाइम, आफ्टर 3-4 आवर्स, व्हाट हैपेंस, यही रिफ्रेम आपके लिए एंकर बन जाता है. इट जस्ट एंकर. खटा ना 1 o'clock, अरे अभी मुझे पढ़ना है, एंकर ट्रिगर हो गया, है ना. खाली घड़ी का टाइम देखना है, टक, एंकर ट्रिगर हो गया. सब छोड़ के अभी पढ़ो 5 minutes. You can make it 5 minutes, or you can say चलो 5 pages कर लेते हैं. I will read only 5 pages. Forget about 5 minutes. है ना. So every minute reading 5 pages means in 10 घंटे में 5-5 करके आपने 50 पेज पढ़ लिया. If the book has 150 pages, 3 दिन में आपने किताब खत्म कर दी. 150 to 180 पेजेस का जो बुक्स होते हैं. In 1 week you can read 2 books. तो सेम बंदा, सेम बंदी, मैं वही हूं, खाली मेरे को किताब पढ़ने का टाइम नहीं मिल रहा था. अब देखो मैं 1 हफ्ते में 2 किताब पढ़ ली, महीने में 8 किताब पढ़ ली. 8 into 12, 96 books in a year. Possible as just by taking out 5 minutes every hour to read a book with only one intention to read the book. Nothing, no other intention. समझने के लिए नहीं, सिर्फ पढ़ने के लिए. अभी क्या होता है जानते हो? योर ब्रेन इज वेरी स्मार्ट. उसको पता है कि मेरे को 5 मिनट ही मिलेगा, तो उस 5 मिनट में मैं कुछ ना कुछ अपने लिए निकाल लूंगा.
और 5 मिनट ही पढ़ना है सर, आगे का मन किया तो नहीं पढ़ना.
कुछ नहीं, और उसके साथ कोई मीनिंग अटैच नहीं करने का, सिर्फ टेकिंग आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट वन एक्टिविटी, रीडिंग अ बुक. यू कैन यूज दैट 5 minutes फॉर एनी अदर एक्टिविटी. Maybe there is some dream you want to achieve. ये आइडिया मैंने किसी को दिया था स्टॉक मार्केट रिलेटेड. तो बोले क्या स्टॉक मार्केट में कैसे पता चलेगा कौन सा स्टॉक अच्छा है? बोले कोई नहीं, आप सिर्फ 5 मिनट लगाओ. अभी एवरीबॉडी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट बैंक निफ्टी. चलो बैंक निफ्टी की बात हो रही है तो चलो. देयर आर सर्टेन इंडेक्स फंड्स, देयर आर सर्टेन बैंक स्टॉक्स,
आईटी फार्मा स्टॉक्स. यस.
आईटी स्टॉक्स फॉर एग्जांपल. चलो ठीक है, बैंक स्टॉक्स ले लो. देखो भाई, आज हम आईसीआईसीआई बैंक का देखेंगे, but I will only watch it every 1 hour. So I will start watching it from 9, then 10, then 11, then 12, then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. देख लिया 7-8 बार. फैमिलियराइज कर, अपने आप को फैमिलियराइज कर लो. सेंसेक्स ही देखो, फैमिलियराइज करो. कैसे उठता है, ऐसे गिरता है, ऐसे उठता है, कैसे. What will happen after a few days? If you practice it for 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, over a period of 1 month, आपके सामने ना पूरा सेंसेक्स का पिक्चर आ जाएगा. यू विल नो दैट ऐसे उसका कर्व गया था इसमें. यू डोंट नीड टू लुक बैक. अच्छा, निफ्टी का ग्राफ ऐसा था. यू डोंट नीड लुक बैक. दैट्स हाउ यू क्रिएट एन इमेज, एंड यू कैन अप्लाई दिस टेक्निक फॉर doing any activity that is important for you, that you are unable to do for a long time. Just applying that anchor and reframe.
Thank you so much for this wonderful talk because मैं मेरा आरे का ही मुझे एग्जाम देना था तो एक बार मैंने 10 ही दिन का मैंने टाइम लिया एंड आई डिडंट क्लियर इट बट एक है इंटेंसिटी कि मुझे करना है लेकिन अभी मेरा मन ही नहीं कर बुक को देख के कि और कैसा है ना कि मैं वही पेज पे बार बार आ जाती हूँ और वही वही चीज पढ़ती रहती हूँ आगे ही नहीं जा रहा है मेरा और मेरे को लग रहा है मैं पहले इसको ठीक करूँ और वो ठीक ही नहीं हो रहा है लाइक ये बाकी है वो बाकी है आगे कैसे जाएगा फिर
आगे निकल जाओ, जिंदगी निकल चुकी है ना। तो जिंदगी आगे निकल चुकी है तो तुम भी आगे निकल जाओ ना, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, वहीं पे बैठे रहने से क्या फर्क पड़ेगा।
And Pinaki ji, is it true like what you do one thing is you do all the thing? ये सब लोग बोलते हैं and I don't know, I'm feeling it all the way together. मतलब एक चीज सही नहीं है तो सब चीज सही नहीं है। मतलब it's अगर आप अपना बुक में ऐसी रख रहे हो, फोन में ऐसी रख रहे हो, लाइफ में ऐसी हो रही है, फिर कैसे ठीक किया जाए वो ठीक।
नथिंग इज रॉन्ग, तो किसी को कुछ ठीक करने की जरूरत ही नहीं। आप देखो आपके लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है और उसमें आपने कितना टाइम लगाया, दैट्स so you take out one area where you really want to focus on and take out 5 minutes every hour। एक दिन के लिए करके देखो, जिंदगी भर के लिए करने की जरूरत नहीं, एक दिन करने से ही थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया मिल जाए। I'm not saying, I do not suggest any activity to do for the rest of your life, I suggest do it for one day, लेकिन एक दिन जरूर करो, थोड़ा करके देखो आज क्या हो रहा है। स्टार्ट ऑब्जर्व दैट, एक आज सुबह जब मैं उठा था तब मैं कहाँ पे था, अभी सोने जा रहा मैं कहाँ पे हूँ, एज फार एज दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग इज कंसर्न। See what happened today when I joined the session. Mitesh was there only for a few minutes, then he couldn't continue because of network challenges. Then हमने conversation start कर दिया था। Now I had two choice, either continue the conversation or wait whether somebody joins or not. So I triggered an anchor for me immediately. The anchor that it triggered is the world is listening to me. Yeah, the entire universe is listening to me. See, the Zoom is working. Zoom अपना काम कर रहा है. My internet is working. My laptop is working. My speaker and microphone is working. Even I can talk. ये भी working कर रहा है. मैं सोच पा रहा हूँ. ये भी work कर रहा है. सब कुछ work कर रहा है. और एक चीज मेरे को पूछ रहा है, should I continue or not? Isn't it funny? Silly? जब सब कुछ तुम्हारे साथ काम कर रहा है, the entire universe has conspired with you. You are thinking whether I should continue this conversation or not. Assume thousands of people are listening to you. तुरंत मैंने उसको ट्रिगर किया. I just triggered that. मैं लोगों को बोलता हूँ पब्लिक स्पीकिंग क्या है, इट इज जस्ट अ वन ऑन वन कन्वर्सेशन। बोले नहीं वहां पे तो इतने सारे लोग होते हैं, आप इतने सारे लोगों को एक आइडेंटिटी मान लो ना, रिप्लेस इतने सारे लोग को वन आइडेंटिटी, बात कर। तो मैं लोगों को बोलता हूं तो मैं खुद यार फंस गया था ना, नो वन वाज देयर, आई ट्रिगर्ड दैट एंकर इमीडिएटली। यस, थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पीपल आर लिसनिंग टू मी राइट नाउ, आई एम रिकॉर्डिंग दिस सेशन। क्या होगा कल जब इसको रिकॉर्डिंग को मैं ग्रुप में डाल दूंगा, लोग सुनेंगे कि नहीं सुनेंगे ना, पता नहीं ये मेरे को कहां से कहां लेके चला जाएगा आने वाले 5 साल। तो व्हाई शुड आई लूज दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी। और देखो भगवान ने बीनल को भेज दिया, बीनल के लिए एक वन ऑन वन कन्वर्सेशन हो गया फॉर फ्री विच कॉस्ट 2000 रुपीज, है ना। तो दिस इज the kind of thoughts that you need to think so that you are always moving ahead. यूनिवर्स तुम्हारे लिए काम कर, देखो कितना सुंदर, for the kind of conversation that we are having, it's a very high level deep level conversation, because it's happening one on one, और कोई है ही नहीं, है ना। Super. When I just want to thank you for coming to my session and making it wonderful for me, useful for me. है ना?
Actually, I am obliged and thankful to you कि आज मुझे आपसे connect करने को मौका मिला. I think we are connecting after a long time, and every discussion is priceless.
ये भी यूनिवर्स का कनेक्शन है. यूनिवर्स ने तुम्हारे लिए ये मोमेंट रख दिया था.
I was
कि
thinking
आज
मैं join करूँ नहीं करूँ. मेरे को मेरा पढ़ाई भी बाकी है. मतलब मेरे को बहुत बोरियत हो रही है और मेरा भी सर का सेशन है. मैं वापस प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन पे जाऊंगी नहीं, लेकिन मैं आ जाती हूँ थोड़े टाइम के लिए. मैं उनसे बात करने को मिलेगा.
है ना, priceless. You should go and thank to God. Say God, आज आपने मेरे लिए कितना बड़ा गिफ्ट अरेंज कर दिया. I was just doubting whether I should join or not. उतनी सी फर्क थी. It's just a matter of few seconds. Few seconds की इस तरफ और उस तरफ. The other side of few seconds. You took the courage. You took the decision. Your intentions were absolutely clear, and you said, "चलो देखते हैं जो होगा होगा."
And
there
you
was
said that anchoring and reframing, it's a major tool जहाँ से आप पूरा कर सकते हैं. तो
yeah,
reframing
हाँ, 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 बोलो बोलो.
तो ऐसा लगता है कि वो फेकनेस है. वो अंदर से अच्छा नहीं लगता. तो वो
नहीं,
क्या हो रहा है?
reframe fakeness नहीं. Reframing is a way of looking at making things work. Like as I said, कि I don't have time to read books. तो आप reframe करो ना. Instead of saying that, बोलो कि मेरे पास हर घंटे में कम से कम 5 मिनट तो है एक किताब पढ़ने का है कि नहीं. 5 मिनट तो निकाल सकते हो ना 24 घंटे में. हो गया ना. तो ये reframing फेक कहाँ हुआ. ये तो फेक नहीं. ये तो you are actually thinking rationally कि यार 5 मिनट मैं निकाल ही सकती हूँ अपने लिए. 24 घंटे में अगर मैं 5 मिनट भी नहीं निकाल सकती तो कौन सी बड़ी बात है. लोग तो वॉशरूम जाने के लिए भी 5 मिनट निकाल लेते हैं.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल नहीं, आपने ये बहुत सही बात बोली. एंड डेफिनेटली आई एम गोइंग टू वर्क ऑन इट कि कुछ भी हो मैं मेरा आएगा एग्जाम तो आई क्लियर इट वन थिंग एट अ टाइम.
Even when you are preparing for an exam and you find it very difficult to take out time for it during working hours, you take one subject chapter or one subject book along with you. ऑफिस में ही रखना, अपने टेबल पे ही रखो. और खाली तुम्हारा एक ही काम है, हर घंटे में 5 मिनट उसको देना. अलार्म लगा लो. So it's 11 o'clock, 5 minutes, I will just read this. आप चाहो तो उसमें टैग्स लगा लो कि which are the chapters which you need to pay attention to. याद करने के लिए नहीं, खाली पढ़ने के लिए. याद करने इसका काम है, ये याद रखेगा. इसको खाली ये दिखना चाहिए कि वो मेरे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, बाकी ये काम कर लेगा इसको जो कर. एंड यू विल सरप्राइज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. यू विल टोटली सरप्राइज्ड कि सब कुछ होने के बाद भी, डिस्पाइट द डे बीइंग सो बिजी, you still took out some time from your life to read that book, to read that chapter, and you could also recall that chapter. Even सोने से जाने से पहले, if you just read those pages which you've read throughout the day for those 5 minutes, इतना बढ़िया recap होगा कि क्या बताऊं. By the time you go to bed, you activate your alpha mind, alpha waves, and it will remember everything that you read throughout the day. तो सारा रात when you are sleeping, it is working on those new thoughts. That's how this NLP in action program is designed, जो मैंने अभी डिजाइन किया. इसीलिए उसका सेशन रात को होता है from 9 to 10. Why? Before you are going to bed, you are taking all these noble thoughts with you, and you are allowing your subconscious to work on it, so that when you get up in the morning tomorrow, you know what you are supposed to focus on today. What are your priorities? Automatically आपको दिखेगा. Even if you don't note it down, it doesn't matter. You will automatically pay attention to those priorities. मेहनत करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. It works magically. Keep joining my Wednesday sessions and Tuesday sessions. I'm telling you, it's Wednesday वाला session का तो actually कोई topic नहीं होता. The topic comes up बट फंडामेंटल टॉपिक उसमें यही रहता है, रिफ्रेम, एंकरिंग एंड एक्सेलेंस। इन तीनों वर्ड के ऊपर हम काम करते हैं, ARE, R, ARE, or you can say EAR. Excellence is a result of anchoring and reframing. EAR, और EAR से हम क्या करते हैं, सुनते हैं. So you start developing your active listening skills. हो गया, एक और एंकरिंग हो गया, है ना. NLP is all about EAR, है ना.
Right.
Achieving excellence through reframing and anchoring.
The life is actually what I feel is whom you are listening to, whom you are talking to, and what kind of people are you associated with. You will become that because obviously the changes and जो भी आपकी लाइफ में आ रहा है आप उसको कान दे रहे हो, आप उसका एडवाइस दे रहे हो, आप उससे बात कर रहे हो, sharing that zone, your inner circle. Obviously, you will be part of it. So it's very much important whom you are choosing and whom you are discussing with.
Yeah, you are average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with.
Yes.
Choose those 5 people carefully.
One of that 5 people is you yourself because you are talking to yourself 24/7. So you have to make sure that वो garbage नहीं जा रहा है, वो कुछ अच्छा जा रहा है. Else you know
हाँ, तो अपने
garbage
आप
is
को
garbage.
exactly अपने आप को excellent बनाना है, so that you are proud of yourself. If there is one
Right.
person who I am proud of is me. Because मेरे ही वजह से आज तक जो भी मैं कुछ सीख पाया वो सिर्फ मेरे ही वजह से सीख पाया. मैंने अपने आप को जो सिखाया वही मैंने सीखा. बाहर से तो मैंने खाली इंफॉर्मेशन लिया. पिनाकी से अभी आप सिर्फ इंफॉर्मेशन ले रहे हो, उसमें से जो चीज आप अपने लिए अलाउ करोगे, अपने आप को सिखाने के लिए अलाउ करोगे, वही आप सीखोगे. So you are your best mentor, best teacher, best coach, best trainer. Whatever you allow yourself to teach yourself, train yourself, coach yourself, mentor yourself, you just learn that. You do not learn anything else. बस अपने आप को
Thank you
बहुत
so much.
बहुत बढ़िया
Thanks a
टीचर
lot.
बनाना है, मेंटर बनाना है, कोच बनाना है. चलो, we'll catch again.
आपको already. Yes, definitely. And मुझे भी बनना है आपके जैसा, थोड़ा सीख के आगे बढ़ना है. Let's see how this phase goes.
Yeah, you must share your experience in the groups. अपना जो
Definitely will do that.
है ना, magic of transformation group, you must share your experience over there, because these experiences will make you who you are. You can share this experience in your LinkedIn profile also. You can connect to this video as well. इसको जो अपने सेशन में डाल दूंगा, you can connect to this YouTube video also. उसमें दोनों का
ये
पब्लिसिटी
I
होगा.
mean नहीं, लेकिन मैं अभी वो अच्छी नहीं लग रही हूँ. I mean I have to look good जब मैं आऊंगी तभी. I like always एक था कि मैं आपके साथ एक वीडियो बनाऊं, but not like that. थोड़ा प्रिपेयर करके थोड़ा सा बेटर होके आते करते हैं.
ये वीडियो और भी पावरफुल है, because this is absolutely natural, nothing fake about it.
Yeah,
Not
but
even
lightings and
that's
everything. Yeah,
absolutely, है ना. So इस वीडियो का तो मतलब कोई मोल लगा ही नहीं सकते.
definitely.
चलो, all right.
Thank you so much, sir. Means a
इसका
lot.
एक फोटो ले लेता हम दोनों का.
Yes, एक सेकंड में थोड़ा एंगल ट्राई करती हूँ चेंज करने का.
कर लो. All right, so here we go. Look at the camera. We'll
Just a second. Let me go up. हाँ, ये ठीक है. Better.
ये ठीक है. चलो, ठीक है. Okay. So here we go. We'll count 1, 2, 3 together and freeze at 3. Okay. So 1, and look at the camera. That's it. 1, 2, 3. Wow. This is awesome. So we put it here. Superb.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.